Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
So in today's class, if you recall previous class, okay, we have seen this one, right? Local shear failure. This thing, if you recall, right? Is it visible? So how the local how the bearing capacity will changes with the local shear failure. Okay, what we said is cohesion term become 2/3 of the this one, and this phi term also become mobilized. Okay, and basics also given some equations, and this is the graph of Terzaghi and basics. In today's class, we'll mainly focus on the effect of water table on the bearing capacity. It is also very important topic. Uh, how the bearing capacity is going to change with the water table. Very important. Okay. So we know the bearing capacity. What is the bearing capacity equation? Ultimate bearing capacity, Terzaghi's bearing capacity equation is Q ultimate is equal CNC, okay, plus surcharge, then NQ plus zero point 0.5 gamma B N gamma, NC, NQ, N gamma. Remember that equation, very important, Terzaghi's bearing capacity equation. So, what will happen if the water table changes? So, they have considered two cases. One is the water table located above the base of the footing. So, this is the base of the footing here, B. Above that, that means at a depth of dW or at a height of A from the base. So why they have considered in well, you will come to understand, you will come to know. Okay. So first, the ultimate bearing capacity has been developed based on the assumption that the water table is located at a greater depth. So we, when we have decided the or developed the bearing capacity equation, so we assume that water table is at a greater depth, whether it may be for Terzaghi or other people. So now if the water table comes into a picture, what will happen to the bearing capacity? It is very important and to understand. Now first we'll let us assume that one case the water table is above the base of the footing. That means at a depth of dW or at a height of A. In the next case, we have considered at a depth of DF. That means depth of the foundation at the base of the footing. Okay, DF, and at a depth of B from the depth of the foundation. Here, this one. If the water, this is the water table. Okay, water table is above the base of the foundation is first case, and the water table is below the base, somewhere at a depth of B. B for Bombay. Okay, at a depth B somewhere. Here at a depth A from the base A, or can be written as depth of water table here. Hope these two diagrams are clear for you. Here DF is the depth of the foundation. This B is the just below the base of the footing. Okay, two cases we are considering. One is above the base, second one is the below the base water table. Then what will happen to the bearing capacity? That we are going to study. Now coming to that. Now in these equations, the effective surcharge is reduced. That means as the effective weight below the water table is equal to here in this equation, this is our equation, bearing capacity equation. First is the cohesion term, second one is the surcharge term, and third one is the base term below the footing. This is cohesion, this is the surcharge. Q naught is the surcharge here. Okay, so what is happening to the surcharge here above the footing? What is happening? When water table changes, what gamma generally we use? We use gamma dash. Is it not? From the effective stress chapter, if you recall. So here, what is the surcharge here at the depth of the foundation here? dW gamma, here this one, plus A gamma dash. The effective stress is reduced as the effective weight below the water table is equal to the submerged unit. Therefore, can be written as Q naught or surcharge is equal dW, depth of water table. Above that water table, only gamma. Below the water table, A gamma dash. Okay. What is this A? A can be written as dF minus dW. dF the depth of the foundation and dW is the depth of the water table. So substitute this A here. Then surcharge term can be written in this way. So substitute this in our normal equation. Our normal, what is the ultimate bearing capacity equation here? C dash or cohesion. Okay. NC plus this term, whatever we have derived it, NQ plus 0.5 gamma dash B N gamma here. Now what we'll do is we'll substitute these A values and the DF values and we'll see. If the dW is equal to 0, that means the water table is, where is the water table? Here. Okay. If dW equal to 0, what happens to the water table? What happens to the water table? It will fully goes to the top here, ground surface. When dW is 0, this water table rises to the top ground surface. Then which unit weight we have to use for whole surcharge? Gamma dash. That's what it is given here. Here, okay, when dW is 0, then only this term will come into picture. When the A becomes 0, what will happen? When the A becomes 0, such a term become dry, only gamma. Understand? Only gamma and NQ, and this is also, this will come into gamma dash below the footing. Hope you are following. Okay. What we are doing is just we are changing the water table. When the A becomes 0, A becomes 0 means here check it. So above that one, the surcharge would be only gamma. And the footing below becomes gamma dash here. Now next case we will consider where the water table is located at the B depth. That means we are checking it whether this particular water table at what depth it will affect our bearing capacity. We are checking with some arbitrary B. Okay. When the water table become at a depth B, what will happen? Let us take this. Here anyway, this part is dry, surcharge is dry. When the water table is below this one, nothing is happening here. Gamma DF, we can have to take it. But look at this term, okay? It is represented with the gamma dash. A gamma bar is equal to gamma dash plus B by B, gamma minus gamma dash. So if you use this term here, okay, how we get this term, I will tell you, okay? If you use the term here, now check it. If B is equal to 0 in this term, in B equal to 0, this term becomes 0. Only gamma dash comes into picture. The equation reduces to gamma dash. That means B equal to 0 means here the water table is at the foundation level. Then what happens? This term becomes gamma dash. If the water table is B equal to B, that means the water table is at a depth of B. B is the width of the foundation. If the water table at a greater depth, that means at the width of the foundation, this B becomes capital B, suppose. Here, if the small b becomes capital B, what will happen to this term? This gamma dash cancels, only gamma is left. That means here the equations become like this. 23.5. Understood? That means everything is dry there because water table is at a greater depth. That means hence when the groundwater table is located at B, depth B equal to the or greater than B, there is no effect on the ultimate bearing capacity. That's what we are going to learn in this particular class today. If the water table is below the footing, how much depth? If it is more than width of the footing, if the water table depth is more than the width of the footing, below the B, this base of the footing, if the this B becomes capital B, if the water table at a greater depth, then there is no change in the ultimate bearing capacity of a footing pile form. Okay, so bearing capacity becomes same whatever we have derived for the Terzaghi's bearing capacity. That means this gamma dry, this is dry in the sense bulk I'm talking. Okay, this is bulk and this is bulk. There is no submerged unit weight here. We are using it. Submerged. When we have to use the submerged unit weight, then if the water table is rising up to B, then this term becomes gamma dash. If the water table is touches the ground surface, then whole thing becomes submerged unit weight. The whole thing becomes submerged unit weight. This is what it is given. Understood? Understood. So this is very, very important. What will happen to the ultimate bearing capacity when water table changes? Okay. When you do naturally, it automatically it will come. Just here by using this A, B terms we have used. But if you use naturally for finding this one, so here below that base of the footing, we have to take submerged unit weight if the water table is at the base. Now, again, what it has given is general expression it has drawn. So taking the submerged unit weight as roughly half of the bulk unit weight. Suppose bulk unit weight is 20. So 20 minus gamma W unit weight of the saturated water is 10. Then what is submerged unit weight? 10. Gamma sat minus gamma W. Gamma W we have taken as unit weight of the water, that is 10 suppose. Gamma saturation is how generally find out gamma saturation? Suppose 20. Then what will happen? The submerged unit weight is half of the bulk unit weight. Then they have developed an equation with the term WQ and the W gamma. These two extra terms has come into picture. Taking the submerged unit, just I'm taking, okay, taking the submerged unit weight as roughly one half of the bulk unit weight gamma. The general expression for the ultimate bearing capacity can be written as they have included two terms, that is WQ and the W gamma, and they have given the values of WQ and the W gamma. Here again, if you remember this WQ and W gamma equation, suppose 1 minus 0.5 A by DF, which is less than or equal to 1, and W gamma is equal to 0.5 plus 0.5 B by B. This equation you can develop. I mean, there's nothing big equation this is. Okay, so you can write on your own also. Suppose by substituting the A value, B value, and DF value. Here, let us look at this gamma, sorry, WQ. second term. So here, if the A is equal to 0, suppose if the A is equal to 0, then what will happen to WQ? What will happen to WQ if A equals 0? Please respond.
It will become 1, sir.
It become 1. Okay, so this second term, that means A equals 0. We will check it. A equal to then 0. That means here. Second term, the whole thing would be dry. Just 1 or less than or equal to 1. This become 1. Then here only gamma. Similarly, here if the B is equal to 0. Suppose B is equal to 0. What will happen? 0.5. This become 0.5. Half of this. That means gamma submerged will come into picture. 0.5 means we have assumed that gamma submerged is equal to half of the bulk. Then what will happen? 0.5. Here we have to use 0.5 instead of here gamma W is nothing but the B is equal to 0 means what? What we are doing is the water table is reaching to the base. Then this term we are using gamma submerged. It is not complicated, okay, very simple thing, okay, if you are not following also no issue, okay, just read once, there is nothing, we are changing the water table and what we are doing is we are substituting B value and A value 0, 1, 0 like that we are substituting it and then finally we are getting this equation is going to change it, that's all, that's what it is given, okay. Now one more small equations again. Now whatever we have developed equations is mainly for the strip footing we have seen in the previous class, okay. Terzaghi's use the strip footing. Now suppose if the footings are square and the circular, how these equations are going to change, that's what it is given here. So this particular equation, the previous equation is derived for strip footing. The deformation under strip footings are two dimensional. It is known as the plane strain cases of elasticity. On the other hand, the deformation of the soil under square or the circular footings are three-dimensional. A rigorous analytical solution for three-dimensional case is extremely difficult. So based on the experimental results, Terzaghi gave the following equation for the ultimate bearing capacity for square and the circular footing. Again, very, very important for a GATE exam. Whatever till now we have discussed, that equation is only for strip footing. But in the GATE exam or any competitive exam, if they give the footing width as a square footing, the B, or the circular footing with the B or the diameter, B here the diameter, suppose. In that case, how the bearing capacity equation will changes. So what is the change here? Can you point out? For square footing, what is the change? What extra term is coming here? Can you point out? Then only I will say that you people are reading every day.
So that 1.2 times of C.
Exactly. Next, then.
And then the 0.5 got reduced to 0.4.
Ah, yeah. So here, how to remember this equation? Generally, how do I remember is 0.4 is the even number, right? Like 0.2 plus 0.2. So we assume that 0.2, no, both the sides suppose putting. Then what will happen? It will give the square feeling, square. So this 1.2 is common. For strip footing, there is no 1.2. For square footing, how generally I remember, because 0.4 is the even number. But in the case of 0.3 circular footing, it is a odd number, 0.3. That's how you have to remember if you forget. Exactly everything is same. Only difference is first term we multiply with 1.2 and last term will multiply instead of 0.5 will multiply with the zero point 0.4 for a square footing and 0.3 for a circular. That's all. The bearing capacity factor R, NC, NQ, N gamma are same as that of the strip footing. That's what it is given. In the circular footing here, the B is nothing but the diameter, not the width. The last term 0.3 gamma D, it should be D, but they have written as B in gamma. Circular footing, because last term always represent the width of the footing. First term represent the cohesion in contact with the footing, and second term represent always the surcharge. That you should remember. Gamma df nothing but is surcharge if the depth of the foundation is df. I have told you how to remember this equation also. First what you have to do is NCU, NC, NQ, N gamma, you write it down. NC, NQ, N gamma. Those values depends on the only phi, the friction of a soil. Angle of internal friction phi. That equation we have seen the graphs for Terjagi, Basics, and the many people are given that graphs. Okay, so NC, NQ, N gamma depends only on the angle of internal friction. So NC, NQ, N gamma, you write it down. Then first term represent the cohesion, second term represent the what do you say, surcharge. Third would be below the footing, base of the footing. Here for the square footing we are just multiplying. So he has given direct formulas. Okay, he has done a lot of rigorous analysis and he came to conclusion that how to correlate this strip footing with the square and the circular footing. So he has given derivation for this strip footing, and based on his experience and analytical solution, it is very difficult to derive it in both the side. Okay, strip footing is just we have considered 2 dimension, but when it comes to the square footing, one more dimension comes into picture, 3D. In that case, it is very difficult, and he might have used some FEM analysis, finite element analysis, and that, and finally he came to the conclusion that this particular ultimate bearing capacity for square and the circular footing may approximately may come to the value whatever he has given as 1.2 CNC or C dash NC plus gamma DF NQ plus zero point 0.4 we have to remember here, because since it is a square footing he has given actual for square footing it is 0.4, but for actual derivation we got 0.5, that is the strip footing. It is keep on reducing it. Okay, then for a circular footing it is 0.3. So remember these equations are very important. You will definitely get few questions for any competitive exams. Okay, what will happen to the bearing capacity when the water table changes up, down, and so on. Okay, that we have either generalized expression you can remember like WQ and W gamma, and remember this equation WQ is nothing but 1 minus 0.5 A by DF. Okay, it is less than or equal to 1. If you substitute the values of A here, then automatically it will give the exact results. Okay, so with that I'll stop today. I hope people are following and read this equation up to bearing capacities. So we have finished the Terjagis. We can focus on other people. Terjagis, how what will happen, the water table changes. Before that we have seen the bearing capacity factors for local and general shear failure, and this 2/3 will come into picture for local shear failure. Okay, that's what we have seen here. Mobilized cohesion will come into picture. How the failure takes place, uh, that also we have seen. These graphs are very important, and this bulging and other things. Okay, generalized shear failure, local shear failure, and he has not focused on the punching shear failure because generally we don't construct our footing on a soft side. Okay, so he has only focused on the general shear failure, local shear failure. And if you go, that's what I'm showing. So these are the types of the failure and values are given. So in the exam, what type of failure is asked, you have to take accordingly the NC, NQ and N gamma values. Okay, according to that. So these five value depend, sorry, NC, NQ, N gamma value depends on only five if you look at these equations. Okay, so he has given directly equation, has not explained anything about it, from where you got it. And this derivation, anyway, we have seen it to Terzaghi's bearing capacity equations. He says that there are three zones: zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. Zone 1 is in a elastic equilibrium condition. That means it will act as a footing, part of the footing. Second is the radial shear zone, and third is the passive zone. It will try to push. And similar way, we have used the retaining wall theory and we just derived it. You try to understand the derivation. If you are not understanding also, what you do is remember that equation, very, very important. And these assumptions are very, very important. Okay, whether Terzaghi's assumptions, no. So he has considered the base of the footing as rough compared to this planet. He considered as the smooth. And go through these basic definitions. Okay, uh, these basics different definitions: ultimate, net safe, grass safe, and so on. These definitions are very, very important. So with that, I'll stop today. We can hope you people are reading every day. Try to read every day, then only you will remember. Okay, that's why I'm taking directly focus directly from the book itself, so that you will read instead of the PPT. Okay.